Welcome back, everyone. We really hope you enjoyed the show. But we're not quite done yet. You've found yourself in the special features portion. I know, we didn't give you a menu or any options. We just kinda threw it in there at the end, effectively forcing it upon you, because you can't find the remote and you're far too lazy to get up and change the channel manually. But trust us, it'll be worth it. So, with no further ado, we bring you the making of Utterly Delicious. Let's take a look back. It all started with a concept. It was one of pure genius and unparalleled imagination. A milk factory! I know, that doesn't sound very interesting, but this wasn't just any milk factory. It was special. More on that later. Out of this concept, ideas began to blossom. Characters took shape, and the series took on a life of its own. Still, at the core, was the idea of teaching important management concepts in a light-hearted, humorous, and creative fashion. Our goal had to remain clear: to successfully demonstrate these management issues while keeping the audience engaged. To do so, we needed the right characters, and so Jamie, Jack, and John were born. 3 people from different walks of life, with diverse backgrounds. They don't always agree with one another, but they must find a way to work together to get their company's issues resolved. Now that we had our characters, we needed a plot. We knew that we had to demonstrate the management concepts in an engaging way, so we started with something that's sure to get everyone's attention: rotten milk. We decided to demonstrate the concept of social responsibility through a crisis involving mislabeled milk, which would begin a discussion on the best course of action to take for the company. Should they take the financial hit to do the right thing for their consumers, or try to hide it and hope it blows over? This original concept later became the basis for Episode 2, and played a large role in developing the characters. Back to the company. See, I told you we'd have more. The first thing we needed was a great name. After some trial and error, we landed on Utterly Delicious. What began as a fun play on words ended up shaping the company's marketing scheme as well. Based out of Wisconsin, the cheese state, our factory faced fierce competition. However, due to their niche, they managed to stay on top much of the time. Their secret is in a small touch of creative marketing. They place an individual cow's name and picture on each milk bottle, with a description of that cow. Whichever cow produced that jug of milk is of course the one pictured. This makes the milk more special and personal, especially for the kids. They love it. This marketing concept, along with the name, created a unique and individual company, allowing the audience to feel fully involved and invested in the future of our characters and their place of employment. Now, a little more on our characters. We decided that, in order to provide a better understanding about their work lives, viewers should know a little bit more about the personal lives of these employees. Jamie is a single mother providing for 3 school-age children. She is well-rounded and has worked every position at the plant. She can now easily sympathize with her employees. She is considered to be very approachable, and has a great reputation amongst everyone with whom she deals. Her personal morals play a big role in her job as plant manager. A young single guy who likes to spend time with friends, Jack lacks a college degree and significant finances. He often comes to work in the wee hours of the morning due to a bus schedule. He is striving to climb the corporate ladder to a higher position by showing drive and determination within the company. Jack was designed as the average Joe type character, someone with whom most young people could empathize. We believed this to be important in fully capturing our audience, who would primarily be young men and women just starting their adult lives. Bringing home a 6-figure income to his second wife and 2 children, John Westerfield is the closest thing our series had to a villain. Although he has brought much good to the company in the past, and is honestly a pretty decent guy, his personal turmoil, resulting from his recent separation from his second wife, and custody battles over his children, is leading him to become a bit bitter. He no longer sympathizes with his employees. Instead, he is authoritative and cold. He delegates everything and has high expectations of his employees. He is often viewed as completely out of reach to the average worker. Although titled Social Responsibility, Episode 2 snuck in another management theme, the efficiency perspective. When Mr. Westerfield debates whether or not to recall the milk, he attempts to make decisions based on which will maximize profits for the owner of the business. Eventually, he realizes that the right thing for society and the most profitable, or least expensive, decision may actually be the same in this instance. Another good example of management concepts in our films is Episode 6, wherein Mr. Westerfield learns that Udderly Delicious's biggest competitor is adding on a seasonal fine cheese basket, and has set up accounts with offices around the country. Although there were many competitors in the field of seasonal cheese baskets, Udderly Delicious came up with a niche cheese basket of their own that was projected to be more successful than even their competitors. If they didn't evaluate their environment, they wouldn't have found a need for change, and would have missed out on a lot of potential income. We already know that learning can be fun, but we also know what our viewers really want. Drama, and lots of it. The recall on milk would cost almost $1 million, but not recalling the milk might cause customers to get sick and lose their trust in the product. This caused a serious disagreement between two of our main characters, and eventually left one to make the decision by herself. We demonstrated here individual decision-making by first creating an intense scenario where Jamie had to make a large decision that would greatly impact the company. Then comes the learning. Jamie now has to walk through the 7 steps of individual decision-making. Just when you thought you were watching a brain-rotting soap opera, we sprung some knowledge on you. Gotcha! All of this drama, comedy, and education spun into one beautifully cinematic masterpiece of puppet theater made for a unique learning opportunity. Viewers would benefit from having our knowledge forced into their brains, whether they like it or not, but wouldn't complain because they got to come along for the ride. Wonderfully cheesy, overdramatic, and just plain fun, the Utterly Delicious series will, without a doubt, be a hit for years to come, and the damage caused by the knowledge bombs we dropped may not be fully repaired for much longer. For those of you watching this making of, in preparation for your own endeavors, we have a few tips for you. 1. Delegate work to be split up evenly in the beginning of the week. This way, everyone knows their duty for that week, and they can tackle any issues that arise early on if need be. In addition, viewing past students' work was a great help when trying to perfect our assignments. So be sure to view the work of as many predecessors as possible. When we weren't sure about how a certain assignment should be structured, we would use other students' assignments, provided by the professor, as a guideline for our own. Most importantly, make sure to learn, because, of course, that's why you're here in the first place. And, once management theories are learned, practice applying them in real life. Only then will you be able to pass them along to others in the form of your own series, which we're sure will be wonderful. But obviously not nearly as awesome as ours. Throughout the semester, we each contributed as much time as possible to create the best work possible for our management course. We created general jobs and, by the halfway point, could predict which piece we would personally take on every week. Taking this class online came with its own set of burdens and obstacles, especially since we aren't all in the same city, but we managed to pull it off. We spoke several times each week through text message and email in order to establish specific assignments for each member, and try to agree on the best way to start our projects off. Due to our teamwork and diligence, we have created our own TV show, nearly completed this course, and are much more familiar with the world of management. This semester's management class has taught us a lot of valuable lessons that will stick with us for life. Our assignments were creative and allowed us to think about the subject in a more realistic manner. Our design challenges and finger puppet film provided us with a fresh way to apply knowledge, which we found to be very effective in our learning. This was the making of Management Maniacs' Utterly Delicious Management Series. Now you know.